discussions, and maybe we'll get some trailers in there. I haven't seen many trailers recently, as in like within the last 2 days of new stuff, but we move. And yeah, we got a mix of One Piece news, some stuff dealing with the MCU. Um, what else do we have here? Yeah, let's begin. First up is Variety. So this article involves Mark Ruffalo, the Hulk, Hannah Einbinder. We're gonna run that one back, boy. Hannah Einbinder. I said run it back and I said it the same way. Defends Mark Ruffalo after Paramount calls his merger attack anti-Semitic. Those of us with a platform need to use our voices. Okay, let's see. Hack star Hannah has come to the defense of Mark Ruffalo after Paramount accused him of involving anti-Semitic tropes when criticizing the Paramount Warner Bros. Merger. So if you don't know, and if this article doesn't go into it soon, one Paramount is merging wants to merge with Warner Brothers, and it's bringing up a lot of topics like monopolization of the industry and things that and lots of other things. So this is what Mark Ruffalo is speaking on. It all kicked off on Friday when Ruffalo shared a clip on Instagram of Paramount board member Safra Katz outlining really profoundly scary technologies that Oracle, the tech giant co-founded by Larry Ellison, father of Paramount Skydance CEO David Ellison, who is involved in the merger's financing. The technology was used to help the Israeli military after the October 7th terror attack. Ruffalo likened Larry Ellison to a classic oligarch and warned of the consequences if Paramount and Warner Brothers are allowed to merge, alleging that the Ellisons are crushing workers and consolidating the wealth of the world for their own power and concentrated dominance of cats. He said, "Look how she revels in what we now come to see as a genocide, which was built on an apartheid system of oppression powered by Oracle." So Oracle's what was created apparently by a company owned by the father of the current owner of Paramount, current CEO. So the article continues. A Paramount spokesperson then said in a statement that they are troubled when anti-Semitic tropes are invoked in perpetuated service of a business dispute. Well, we're gonna stop there because you see, this is the thing about like society separating business and like morality and politics and stuff like that. A lot of the time, money, business, politics, war, religion, they're all linked somehow. Oil. So, anyway, that came from a Paramount spokesperson. Anyway, was that genocide and apartheid applied to a corporate transaction are just wrong. They're a bridge too far, and they cheapen the real suffering those words are meant to describe. This doesn't deserve a response in kind, and to be clear, we don't tolerate prejudice of any kind against anyone. Okay. On her Instagram story on Monday night, Einbinder, who is Jewish and has been an outspoken advocate for Palestinians, came to the first major celebrity publicly came to the first major celebrity became the first major celebrity to publicly support Ruffalo. I'm so grateful that Mark Ruffalo drew a connection between the Ellisons providing military technology to Israel during a genocide and their unprecedented media takeover, and pointed out that this is a dangerous consolidation of power that could ultimately be used against us, she wrote. The, the idea. Need a drink, boy. Oh, hello everyone. I see you. I'm here. Germany 941. Jude, what's up? I'm a YouTuber. Jude, dude. How are you? Kaneki. Yeah, do that, bro. Just drop the digits. What's up, Jude? Yeah, I had to take a quick break. My throat is tickling, but let's continue with this article. This is really interesting. And it's interesting to me because other than the actual content, the movies and the series that are produced, I don't pay a lot of attention to what the actors or celebrities say or interviews, like their personal interviews and stuff. So it's interesting to hear the opinions and like to hear Mark Ruffalo's opinion and that stance on certain things in culture, Israel and the whole takeover. So it's interesting to know because I think this is a good thing when people who are in front of a lot of cameras, have a lot of publicity on them, they still speak their mind. And we all know, you know, whether it's secret organizations or wherever, people do disappear, people do die in unprecedented circumstances, not unprecedented, but in just random circumstances and, you know, with things going on like Epstein and so many different things in culture and in, let's say, the high percentage, 1% wealth of the world. Yeah, man, Mark Ruffalo stepping out there. Let's continue with the article though. The idea that he, so this is Einbinder, the idea that he only said these things because the Ellisons are Jewish is ludicrous. Einbinder continued, it is also anti Semitic to point out that Safra Katz, the Oracle executive vice chair, who boasted about the profoundly scary technology provided to the IDF, who sits on Paramount's board, or that Larry Ellison has been buying favor with Trump by donating tens of millions to his political effort for years, or that he once offered Netanyahu a lucrative Oracle post. Ambinder added that if you want to make it about that Ellison's being Jewish, then you are the one being anti-Semitic. She concluded her statement by saying, actually, that's a very good point because Ruffalo didn't say anything about Jews. All of us are artists. All of us artists could stand to be more like Mark, willing to speak out for oppressed people everywhere, even when people try to bully us into silence. Visibility is a responsibility. Those of us with a platform need to use our voices before speaking out is outlawed altogether. Following his, that's the quote, end of quote. Following his initial post, Ruffalo, anyone in the chat, hey, what's up, G-Pa? Can you say hi? Sorry, easy come. Sorry, when I get caught up reading, I miss the chat sometimes. But big up everyone on TikTok. We're live on YouTube and TikTok right now. Where are we now? So, following his initial post, Ruffalo was also called out by Jewish advocacy groups in the Weissnau Center and Creative Communities for Peace. You know, what is strange to me is that if he's not actually saying anything about Jewish people and he's just making a connection between these business people, people in high connections, it's like who these people are just jumping out because they're hearing a description or they hear certain people being targeted, so it's straight away anti-Semitic. That's what it seems like to me. It sounds like people are guilty or something, and they're like, oh no, he's not even said Jewish, bro. He's just said, you know, the CEOs of Oracle and Paramount executives. You know where we are. Esme. Oh, I didn't. Esme? Hope that's how I say your name. Hope everyone's having a good day. It's my birthday, brother. His name is Dixon Myers. Cope, what's good? Hope everyone's having a blessed day. Um, who's in there right now? If you're still in the chat, just drop a message. I'll say well gone. Anyway, continue with the letter, with the article. Words matter, and so does the willingness to draw a line when legitimate debate gives way to anti-Semitic tropes, said Jim Burke, CEO of the Simon Weissner Center. He commended Paramount for speaking clearly and refusing to allow prejudice to masquerade as political or corporate criticism at a time when anti-Semitism is too often minimized, rationalized, or repackaged in more socially acceptable language. This kind of moral clarity matters. In response to Paramount, Ruffalo wrote on X on Saturday, the accusation that I am anti Semitic is appalling and fundamentally dishonest, criticizing the actions of the Israeli Prime Minister and a military technology contract or the executives who supply it is not the same as criticizing Jewish people. Thank you very much. What? Of course, this critical this critical and necessary dialogue is then dishonestly framed as anti-Israel. To be clear, my views come from my own political convictions and should never be interpreted as hostility towards Jewish people, for whom I have a deep love and respect. Everything I know about activism, and humanism has been profoundly shaped by the Jewish friends, colleagues, and the loved ones who have been integral and family throughout every point in my life. Boy. So, big up Mark Ruffalo, man. You have an opinion and you share the opinion. So, yeah, this Paramount stuff, yeah, there's many things to say about it. Is it going to be a monopolization of wealth and media? Because, as what's her name? As Hannah Einbinder pointed out, Einbinder pointed out, um, like that Paramount organization, they are having a lot of media brands, whether it's like creative fiction stuff like film and cinema and Hollywood, or news and media outlets. So many points are valid on both sides here. So what is the connection? Again, just like Ruffalo said, he's just pointing out military leaders, CEOs, and business owners, and and some of these organizations, Jewish organizations, are just jumping out. Can you put the song "Hootie Fruity" by Cat's Eye on? Maybe a bit later, Esme. All right, next article. That was a good one though. I think that's a very good start. That might be the best article I ever started with. Yeah, we're still going over there. That's the question. Yes, we are. I forgot to check. Next article. No, that's the whole news feed. Okay, now this one is interesting from the Giants at Superhero Hype. Okay. Come on, man, zoom for me. Cool. Let's go manual. So this article is titled "Now onto Marvel People." Dang it. Sorry, Esme. GQ, what's good? What flag is that? Philippines flag. I can't see your name. ZX05. Big up yourself. Alright, right now we're moving on to a Marvel article. And yeah, it sounds like someone's not too happy. Marvel star rips Doctor Strange 2 cameo part. Such a disservice to the character. Hayley Atwell has publicly voiced her frustration over Captain Carter's brief and brutal appearance in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. The British actress described the cameo as disappointing and felt the character deserved far better treatment. Hayley Atwell criticizes Captain Carter's death at a Love of Fantasy and Sci-Fi convention this month. Whoa! No way, is that the same one I just missed? Wow, where was I again? That was Sunday barbecue. Anyway, Atwell pulled no punches when discussing her experience with the 2022 Marvel sequel. Her character, an alternate universe version of Peggy Carter wielding Captain Britain's shield, met a swift and unceremonious end at the hands of Wanda Maximoff. Marvel designed the Illuminati sequence to showcase fan favorite cameos. Patrick Stewart returned as Professor X, Anson Mount reprised Black Bolt, and John Krasinski finally appeared as Reed Richards after years of fan casting. Lashana Lynch also appeared as an alternate Captain Marvel. Yet, while audiences buzzed over the star power, Atwell felt her character was mishandled from the moment she appeared on screen. So here we begin her quote, and it goes: If I'm really like brutally honest, I was so disappointed with how they positioned her and what happened to her in that scene. Haley at World Tour Convention attendees, she's like, I could do this all day, and then it's like frisbee to death, and we're like, no, you couldn't. And then people going, oh, she's so lame. She added, interesting. Atwa also revealed she attempted to contribute ideas during filming. The filmmakers indicated they would listen but ultimately declined her suggestions. The death itself was indeed abrupt. Wanda Maximoff silenced Captain Carter in half with her own shield after a brief struggle that lasted a mere seconds. The sequence reduced the entire Illuminati to disposable plot devices, with each member falling quickly to demonstrate Wanda's overwhelming power. Not a single hero landed a meaningful blow. The criticism carries weight, coming from Harry Haley Hatwell, who has played Peggy Carter across multiple Marvel projects since 2011. Her animated counterpart in What If received a far more substantial storytelling, allowing the character to shine as a fully realized hero rather than cannon fodder. Okay, well, again, it's nice to hear actors' opinions, and I feel like a lot of fans share this as well. We did love the cameos, but they were so short. You know, someone there like the black bolt finish. That one, I'm understanding because that one was cold. All right, maybe the Mr. Fantastic, but yeah, maybe you could have had a bit more. But I also think that you have to see things on both sides in terms of um, sometimes, yes, the actors or the fans, we have these ideas, but because the writers, this big overarching organization or teams behind the stories, they have things going on. Maybe some suggestions are good, but would it work in the overall plan of where they want to take the scene or the full story? So I hear on both sides it would have been great to see more, but what might have not happened if we had to change the story. Or maybe it's just the scene in general. Maybe we could have just had a better struggle in the scene and just cut things time wise. Maybe we wouldn't have to complicate the whole story following Doctor Strange or whatever going on. And now where we are with Doomsday coming. Alright. Uh, yeah. Let's move on to the next article, shall we?
And I think so I love the idea that she'd be in the suit and she'd have the shields. And if I'm really like brutally honest, I was so disappointed with how they positioned her and what happened to her in that scene. It's like it's so small, and she gets frisbeed to death after saying a line. And like she's like, I could do this all day. And then there's something like frisbee to death, and like, no, you couldn't. And then people going, oh, she's so loud. And I was like, I felt that was like a bum steer and a complete disservice to the character. And I tried on set to kind of go, can I just suggest? And they were like, sure, but no.
I hear it. But thank you for trying. Anyone who loves Captain Carter, let me know. Moving on, next article. Ooh. Now this is a top 10 list. It's anime time, it's manga time. Animenians, it's another buzz right now, it's a different level. We love all the live action stuff of the comic books, but you know when we reach into our segment, it's a different speed. Now, why is my mouse? Why is it not working today? I want you to zoom, my friend, zoom. Come on. Alright, cool. Here we go. Still good? Yes, we are. We do have in the chat. We got two in. Okay. Beta, Greg, how are you? Jimmy, Ans. Hope everyone's having a good day. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. We're the Animenians. This is the Multiverse Nation, so anime, movies, TV series, games. Culture, no culture, and some lifestyle stuff too. You see me vlogging, doing live. So yeah, man, people, let's link up. Might come to a city near you. Next on the list we have, and this is a article by Collider. The 10 greatest manga masterpieces of the last 25 years ranked. Collider, this is a big list, so I'm very interested to see what you have. Let's go. One Punch Man, number 10, last 25 years. Oh yeah, that's from the 2000s. Okay, so we're doing the whole 2000s basically. Okay. One Punch Man is crazy. Gado, Vegeta, Cosmic Gado his name is? One Punch Man, that fight, like everything in One Punch Man, the manga, the art, insane. Insane. And yeah, we're on manga right now. Grand Blue Dreaming from 2014. Okay, so this I don't know about, so let me have a little look. This is a comedy manga. Comedy manga are vastly underrated in favor of their anime counterparts. But this list features a couple of side-splitting classics of this century, including Grand Blue Dreaming. Laurie moves to a seaside town for university, staying with his cousins. When he joins a diving club, expecting something new, he is tricked into what is basically a drinking club, but that doesn't mean he can't have fun. There are a lot of fantastic modern shonen manga, but seinen is where the best stories and comedies are. And the proof lies with Grand Blue Dreaming. The eccentric cast of characters and typical college humor is absolutely perfect, even if rare from manga. I'm gonna slow down a bit. Come on, man. Keyboard and mouse. This manga adopts a unique sense of comedy in comparison to others. Grand Blue Dreaming isn't just senseless silliness, but it is also a moving story about maneuvering college life. Okay, so it's got comedy and it's got some heart. So I thought hopefully he's doing some swimming and not only drinking, boy. But if I'm hearing drinking, I'm already expecting some explicit comedy. And boy, we know how anime and manga goes. When we say explicit. Alright, number 8, Golden Kamuy from 2000, starting 2014. No way. I thought this is a like 90s thing. So, this is an anime that I hear in a lot of top 10 lists, and I think it has a live action adaptation. I think it's also, yes, Japanese made maybe, on Netflix. But let's have a look at the synopsis. The anime of Golden Kamuy is coming to an end in 2027, but if fans can't wait any longer, then they should pick up the manga, the superior version of the story. With rumors of a massive stash of gold hidden somewhere in the country, a soldier and a Ainu girl team up to find it. The map is tattooed and dozens of escaped convicts are involved, and the only way is to capture them and put the pieces together? It's like that. There aren't many manga that can switch between absurd humor and a serious plot like Golden Kamuy, which blends its ridiculous sense of humor and bizarre characters into a dramatic war story. From shocking plot twists to some of the weirdest moments in manga history, Golden Kamuy is a quirky series, but that doesn't get in the way of its adventure and core themes, which drive the compelling story. What? Okay, I didn't know it was like that. From like the clips I saw very minimal action. I saw more like emotional shots of like people crying in snow, similar to this shot we have on screen, this manga panel. So I think I'm gonna add this to this list. If they're saying there's some action, then boy, I'm present. Number 7, Climber, 2007 to 2011. Hello, Joey Banto. How are you? Sasha, Sasha H6J. Esme, you still there? Okay, next up is The Climber. A lot of these manga are masterpieces in written form, but this medium is also acclaimed because of its art. And when it comes to that, barely any series beats The Climber. The protagonist doesn't want to be bothered by others, and when he discovers the joys of climbing, he tries not to let them get in his way as he aims for the next highest peak after each successful climb. Manga like Berserk are often claimed to have the best artwork, but The Climber might be reaching for the crown of the best art in manga history. What? The grounded aesthetic and realistic portrayal of characters are detailed to perfection, but the use of imagery creates hallucinatory visions that depict the character's inner thoughts. The Climber is a distinct manga that revels in the beauty of being alone and doing what one loves. That sounds intense. Ducks, how's your day, bro? Yo, my guy. I'm cool. My day's cool, man. Just chilling, going through some news and just doing some content right now, man. Talking to my Animenians across TikTok and YouTube Live. Bakito, how are you? How's your day going? Your day going, bro? Dukes, am I saying your name right? Let me know. Let me know. All right, that's a big shout though. Might be the best manga art in history. Next on the list is Yona of the Dawn, 2009 to 2025. Okay, most fans think that action anime is only for men, but there are plenty of women-focused action stories out there with Yona After Dawn. I've been looking for one like this. Claymore was such a vibe, and even what's that? What's that one? What's that one with Ray? And it's a team of assassins, mercenaries, Black Lagoon. Anyway, here we go with Yona of the Dawn being one of the best shoujo manga ever. Once upon a time, there was a dragon and his 4 guardians, but as time passed, the fact became legend. After the kingdom was taken over, Yona, the exiled princess, learns that in order to take her home back, she must find these fabled dragon warriors. What? Okay. We're stepping up for the dragons. Ava, what's good? You work in my cousin's school. Davina, big up yourself. That's nice to know. Hello, Davina. Next, how's your day? Oh. Okay, moving on. The anime is soon to get a second season, but with the manga completed, it is the best way to experience the story of Yona of the Dawn. Is praised for his character development, Yona of the Dawn is praised for his character development, which grows a spoiled and annoying brat into a reliable leader and resilient princess. Plus, the manga has a strong supporting cast that helps develop her while also having her own moments to shine. Okay, that's a good sell. Let me get my notebook ready. You know, if it goes in the notebook, this is like, I have a list in my phone already. But I guess it's good to have them in different places. Yona of the Dawn. You know how I know that sticks in my memory? Because I didn't even have to think of it twice. Or look up. Yona of the Dawn. Okay. Thank you very much. Alright, Collider. Number 5, Yotsuba, 2003 to present. Grand Blue Dreaming is a hilarious manga, but one of, if not the greatest comedy manga, is Yotsuba. The titular character just moved to a new town with her father, and while he is busy with his job, he can roam around town, make new friends, and have fun. There isn't much to this manga, but the simple joys define the pure childlike wonder that it embodies. Okay, slice of life thing. Many people dismiss comedy manga, but it has so much more storytelling than other genres. Yotsuba mixes life lessons into its hilarious plot. While it is well written, Yotsuba is beloved for its protagonist and comedy, which has her causing adorable chaos around town. From simple farm trips to playing with friends, every moment is hysterical for young and old fans, proving the series has what it takes to blow up as an anime. Okay. I'm not here for manga, comedy manga though. But I respect it. I respect it. Yotsuba. It's not one I've heard much in my list. Um, Time check people. Anyway, Blue Lock. Hey, other that striker. Blue Lock, what you telling me, bro? Bad boy was good. Number 4 on the list. Wow, Full Metal Alchemist is considered the greatest anime series of all time, and while the manga doesn't have the same status, it is still among the best ever. After brothers Edward and Alphonse lose parts of all of their bodies in a taboo experiment, they set out on an adventure. We're gonna slow down, start that one back. I'm gonna give some respect to Full Metal Alchemist. First, I need a drink. Monkey Kid. That Monkey Kid, that the D Luffy, what's good? Full Metal Alchemist is considered the greatest anime series of all time, and while the manga doesn't have the same status, it is still among the best ever. After brothers Edward and Alphonse lose parts of their bodies in a taboo experiment, they set out on an adventure to find the Philosopher's Stone. However, all they uncover is a government conspiracy that threatens to consume the entire world if they don't intervene. Full Metal. Blue Lock, what's good? Can you say happy birthday to my friend Penny Traitor? Happy birthday, Penny Traitor. Hope you're having a great day and you're chilling with your friend Zero Missy. Yeah, what are you up to? You chilling? Thanks for spending some time on the stream on your birthday. Hope you're chilling, you're into anime, manga, and stuff. Right now, this is the top 10 manga of the 2000s, basically the last 25 years by Collider. And there's a few in here that I've seen so far. Right now, we're on Full Metal Alchemist. Hello, Layla. How are you? Full Metal Alchemist is one of the most complete manga ever, and by that, this list means it contains everything a manga fan could want, from groundbreaking artwork and characters to an engaging story, riveting drama, mystery, action, world building, romance, and shocking plot twists. It is one of the best crafted plots that works in adventure and drama seamlessly to create an outstanding and timeless manga legend. I enjoyed reading that, man, because that felt very true. I couldn't say much better myself. Okay, number 3. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Number 3, they have Vinland Saga. I haven't read the manga, but I've watched the anime. But people who do read it tell me a lot about it. Now let's go. Some manga of the past 25 years are still going, but others have finished their stories, and Vinland Saga is the most significant manga to have concluded its grand adventure. After the death of his father, Thorfinn joins the crew of Vikings who murdered him, hoping to get his revenge when he is stronger. However, years later, he has a crisis of faith, un- unsure of what direction he should take in a life that is defined by bloodshed. I was considering if I should have continued reading that because now I feel like, from what I've seen of Vinland Saga, that feels like a spoiler to say something like that in the synopsis in terms of the part I'm not going to say again in case you missed it. Hopefully you forget that part. When it comes to the greatest manga ever made, many fans bring up 3 specific works, and Vinland Saga is among them. It is hard to argue because Vinland Saga boasts arguably the best character development in the medium. Taking Thorfinn from an angry annoyance to a deep and nuanced character. There is a reason why it is considered one of the best seinen manga, proving it is among the best of the last quarter century. Number 2. What? No. Okay, I guess no Promise Neverland. What manga have I read in the 2000s? No Demon Slayer. I guess they love story and that, but you gotta rate the action as well and the artwork, man. Demon Slayer, no. Promise Neverland. I really enjoyed that though. But we'll see. Good Night Pun Pun. Number 2. 2007 to 2013. A good manga makes people feel things, and Goodnight Pun Pun will make anyone break down and cry. The titular character is a normal boy living in a less than ideal situation, and this manga chronicles his life, from the good to the bad to the ugly. As a hopeless romantic, he wants nothing more than to fall in love, but this is where the root of his problems stem from. Sounds like a man like Sanji, a man after my own heart. Ivan, how are you? Ivan V. A lot of fans don't experiment outside their comfort zones, sticking to action or shonen series. Yes, that's me. But viewers should dip their toes into the ocean that is Goodnight Pun Pun. It may be an ocean of tears that will make viewers bawl their eyes out, but it is an incredibly profound and hard-hitting manga that will be relatable for some and tragic for all. It is a manga that will leave a pit in fans' stomachs, but it's a realistic story that is one of the most engaging of the past 25 years raw. Number 1, the anime I've heard probably no, wait, is it? No, Vagabond is the manga I hate when people tell me best manga. But let's go. Kingdom. As mentioned, many of the manga of this list have come to an end, but some continue, further proving why they are the best manga of the last 25 years. Kingdom is about a young boy who dreams of becoming the greatest general of the Warring States period of China, one of the greatest and most violent periods in the country's history. One fateful day brings him into contact with the Emperor-to-be, and thus begins the duo's journey to unite the kingdoms and achieve their lifelong dreams. Manga sometimes feature big stakes and flashy battles, but the grandeur of Kingdom is better than any over-the-top manga. What better than that Marineford, that Wano, that Egghead, with that World War thing. To be fair, even Gundam Mass probably has some crazy wars I haven't seen yet. Sometimes manga, no, I already read that part. Its intricately crafted war sequences are a spectacle to witness, but not only do they have a gorgeous look, but they also use genuine strategy. Kingdom is all about battles, but it has plenty of endearing characters and political intrigue to prove why it is one of the best manga series of all time. Very, very interesting. Chloe, big up yourself. Hope you're having a good day. Okay. Kingdom, Goodnight Pum Pum, Vinland Saga, Fullmetal Alchemist, Yotsuba, Yona of the Dawn, The Climber, Golden Kamuy, Grand Blue Dreaming, One Punch Man. They have One Punch Man that high. Let me see what they actually say about it. Masterpieces are reserved for dramatic stories with intricate plots. But this is the only one that doesn't have the dramatic story and intricate plot on their thing. Sometimes the best manga of the past quarter century can simply be fun, action-packed adventure. One Punch Man follows Saitama, the strongest hero in the world, however nobody knows it. This gets him into hilarious misadventures, even on some of the most dangerous missions against the strongest opponents. In terms of action, there isn't a better manga than One Punch Man. Yeah, when I was reading it, I felt like this is like the closest thing to Dragon Ball Z I've read, like in terms of wow. My eyes are like wow. And power level, of course. But there's some sick action manga out there. Big up Kakaguri right now, swordplay, crazy. Witch Vows, which wows readers with some of the best art they will ever lay their eyes on. Yes, outside the striking manga panels and stunning character designs, this manga is also surprisingly funny, using its characters for hilarious moments and epic battle sequences. One Punch Man is an action masterpiece that defines the genre of the past 25 years. Yes, One Punch Man. Oh my days. But what they're doing to that season, the new seasons of One Punch, they need to bring it back, right? Come on, people. Hello, Yasmin. How are you? Alright, that was another very good article. I like that one. Where are we next? Is it that time for One Piece news? Okay, One Piece Season 3 cast changes with 4 major characters in the Battle of Alabasta. Before we go there, One Piece live action, take another step. The age of anime. I'm going to keep on saying this when it comes to my mind, but we're here, people, where live action adaptations, they're beginning to adapt more manga and anime. And here we have One Piece on the forefront. This is just so sick to see, man. We're headed to season 3. We're headed to season 3, people. And Naruto live action starting. One Piece Naruto. I mean, I just hope Naruto's done really well. It's gonna be surprised to see how they do it. But we're here. And let's start this article. Anyway, this is all about One Piece season 3 on Netflix. Netflix and One Piece Season 3 just dropped 4 major casting reveals that finally complete the Alabasta Saga's most pivotal players. The hit live-action adaptation adds key allies and fierce rebels ahead of its biggest battle yet. Also, to stick a pin, the Crocodile casting is sick. That actor is cold. I think he's also Slade in the DC, in the Snyderverse. He was, but yeah, man, cold casting. Okay, let's see. Every kingdom is shaped by the people willing to fight for it. Meet Koza, Pell, Chaka, and Toto. Alright, so this is Team Vivi then. Whoa! I know this guy. He was in The Boys, and he was in Sweet Tooth, I think, on Netflix. Let's pull this one back. And Milko Koza. Okay. Hey. So why you get back HD now? Go back HD, man. Sick. One Piece. That's so satisfying, man. That is too satisfying seeing that One Piece logo on Netflix. Look at the hat, the straw hat. Yes. Yeah, and also those mid-credit scenes whenever the new episodes of One Piece come out. I like how they're tailored to like each episode and each location they're in and the character focus. But yeah, so let's continue this article. Emilio Sakura, recognized for Rheingold, will step into the role of Koza. Omid Abatahi. Raw. I butchered that one on the live. Let's run it back. I'm sorry, Mr. Omid. Omid Abtahi. Omid Abtahi, who previously starred in The Mandalorian, will bring Toto to life. Jamie Ward from Gentleman has secured the part of Pell on screen. Nabil Khan, featured in Mandela Long Walk to Freedom, will play Chaka. The upcoming season holds the official title One Piece The Battle of Alabasta. Inaki Godoy, Makenu, Emily Rudd, Jacob Romero, and Taz Skylar return as the core crew. Karitha Chandran Michaela Hoover, Joe Manganiello, my days. I need to practice these names before I come on the stream. Manjanil. Hey, listen, I'm struggling, but that's how you from the ends, man. Whew, Manganiello. Manganiello. Can you help me out, please? Hello, Game12 Duo Quackdactra. What team do you support? Louise King. I support Arsenal. Louise King, yo. Arsenal team. Asana. I heard some people like to say the name. Asana. Aiden Lawton, big up yourself. Okay, I'm better struggling with this name. I don't like this character too. I wonder if Google told me how to say it. Give me a good pronunciation, please. Manganiello. Give me that.
Buongiorno. We are looking at how to pronounce the name of Joe was Italian if we were pronounced Manganiello.
Manganiello. Oh yeah, Manganiello. Joe Manganiello. Hey, just show me one time and we cook. Come on, Joe Manganiello. Come on, Joe Manganiello.
Hello,
Where are you before I get to say your name? Where's that? Manganiello. Okay. Alright, we're back. Joe Manganiello, Lyra Abova, and Sendil Ramathri rejoined the ensemble cast. Earlier announcements also introduced Cole Escola, Jola Mariduena, Daisy Head, and Aldo as fresh faces. The new season centers on Luffy and the Straw Hats navigating rising conflict in Alabasta. According to the official synopsis, a secret rebellion driven by a powerful warlord of the sea threatens the kingdom. Sir Crocodile and his Baroque Works syndicate aim to seize Alabasta for their own gain. The Straw Hats must confront both a civil war and a dangerous adversary to protect Vivi's homeland. Excuse you. Joe Trax and Ian Stokes lead the project as showrunners, writers, and executive producers. Creator Echido Oda executive produces alongside Marty Adelstein and Becky Clements through Tomorrow Studios. Shueisha partnered with Tomorrow Studios and Netflix to develop the live-action adaptation. Filming for the third season has already concluded in Cape Town. What? Already? No way. Man said they finished season 3. Where the leaks? No, I'm joking. We don't need no leaks. We know what's happening. So what? Maybe it's dropped in 2027? Hope so. Let's look at those characters. Emilio Sakurai. Whoops, don't close that one. Okay, so we have our Mr. One. We're on to the next piece of news. Oh, is that finished? That red? No, we're good. So, right now, we're still on One Piece and we're looking at our Mr. One, Aldo. Show me what God says. Okay, wait.
Udo, and I'm playing Mr. One. It's season 3 in One Piece. Hello, I'm Udo, and I'm playing Mr. One. It's season 3 in One Piece.
One of my favorite
Most
characters.
impressive character.
Mr. One.
Most impressive set.
The casino. It's crazy. It's the whole world in there.
What prop will you
English.
take home?
The blades.
Learn anything new about One Piece?
How big the world actually is. Like, it continues to get bigger and bigger. That was the wildest thing to me.
Any advice for your character?
Talk to someone. He's going through it. Talk to someone.
Character skill or trait that you wish you had.
Indestructibility. Is that a word? Catch me as Mr. One, Season 3, One Piece. Hello, I'm Udo, and I'm playing Mr.
Okay, so they sound like he's a British actor. Big up Udo. Yeah, man. Run it up. Do your thing, bro. Do your thing. Sounds like he's been reading the manga and stuff, so he's understanding the lore and the character, and yeah, it's exciting. Just happy to see more progress on the whole show. One Piece. We're here.
Hello, I'm Udo, and I'm playing.
Alright, you can go. Okay, we got that one already. Live action. Got this one already. What's this more confusing stuff up from James Gunn? I don't even know if I need to go over this. Nah, I can't bother. Okay. This sounds at least positive, so let's have a look. Now this is another article on superhero hype. Okay, let's begin. James Gunn sets the record straight on DCU Batman movies and the Muschietti rumor. Okay. James Gunn has shut down rumors that the Brave and Bold movie is on hold. The DC Studios co-CEO responded on Threads after a report claimed that DCU Batman had been paused. Filmmaker Dan Marcus had posted that on X, the director Andy Muschietti told him work stopped due to Warner Brothers, Discovery and Paramount Skydance merger. Gunn directly addressed the claims on this Threads account. He stated, "It doesn't sound like something Andy would have said, but the project is in no way on hold." End quote. His response came after fans brought Marcus's post to his attention. Gunn also previously denied that any DC Studios project were paused because of the merger. Marcus had initially posted his claim alongside an unverified casting rumor. He later clarified that he was referring to the casting rumor being false. However, he maintained that he did hear from Muschietti directly. Marcus also added that Muschietti might not know his own future with the project until the merger finalizes. The Brave and the Bold was first announced in January 2023 as part of the Chapter 1 slate, and Andy Muschietti signed on to direct the film after helming The Flash. Christina Hodson joined the project in January 2026 to write the screenplay. The film will introduce a new Batman, Bruce Wayne, alongside his own Damian Wayne as Robin. Gunn's reassurance still leaves the project without a release date. The Batman 2 remains a key factor in its timeline. That film currently targets 2028, and Gunn has said that he does not want to do two Batman films competing in the same year. Gunn previously stated on Threads that he would not cloud the Batsphere until that film arrives. The Brave and the Bold will likely not hit theaters until 2029 at its earliest. Can't lie, I would have loved to have had Matt Reeves do the DCU Batman. Can't even lie, the way how good Batman is. Well, let me go to my other idea. I still wanted to merge that Batman. There haven't been any connections made in the first Batman film so far. However, I feel like it is the perfect contrast we're looking for. The kind of campy, no, I guess the colorful, optimism and optimistic energy of Superman Clark Kent against the darker, just so serious Dark Knight. But either way, I hope that they go for the contrast, a proper serious Batman, and not one that's busting too many jokes and all of that stuff, man. But anyway, oh yeah, gaming. What's up? How are you? Next article. 15 best high fantasy movies ranked. Okay. It's another big shout, but we'll go straight to it. High press. High press the vid. Yes, we are red. We are good to go. Whoops. Mic is way down here. I didn't even know. No one on the chat couldn't tell me the mic drop. No, I should have looked in the video on my neck. So if I just showed you a lot of nose hole. No pull. Alright, cool. Let's go from here. 15 best sci-fi movies. Sci-fi, fantasy. 15 Dark Crystal, 1982, directed by the legendary Jim Henson and Frank Oz. Dark Crystal was heavily promoted back in 1982 as the first ever major live action feature film without any human actors, instead relying on cutting-edge puppets and animatronics. The result is a family picture that, even though received a mixed critical reception originally, has aged like fine wine as one of the most beloved family classics from the 1980s. I feel like I've seen that. It is one of those fantasy movies that are genuinely perfect, a cult classic that still looks absolutely stunning over 4 decades after its release. From the richly detailed world building to the deeply endearing characters to the perfect blend of whimsy and darkness, which Henson and Oz approached in the material with complete dedication. There's virtually nothing to complain about when watching The Dark Crystal. That's a mad way to open your top 15 list, boy. Okay, let's keep this going. Ooh, one of the bangers. Number 14, The Never-Ending Story. Many remember The Never-Ending Story as one of the weirdest and most disturbing movies ever in the childhood. No, that was actually okay for me. Just other ones that were mad, like Gremlins. Or, what else did I find weird? Charlie and the Chocolate Factory was scarier to me than Oompa Loompas. Never rated them, man. However, those who watch it as adults can appreciate its profound story about a troubled boy diving into a wonderful fantasy when he opens up the pages of a mysterious book. Wondrous yet dark, it's a powerful tale about how imagination can project childlike innocence when it's broken. It's a powerful tale about how imagination can protect childlike innocence when it's broken. Okay, protect, that makes more sense. The West German produced English language children's epic. No way, that wasn't a Hollywood movie. The Never-Ending Story is a perfect gateway to introduce kids to the concept of high fantasy. Its world can only be described as magical, bolstered by gorgeous visuals, evocative music, and a deeply compelling story as the cherry on top. It has all of the audience gasping for more. It gives them anything they could want in a good family high fantasy film. Moments of sadness, tremendous joy and wonder, and an enveloping atmosphere that makes it a pleasure to take in. That's a big one. 1981 Excalibur. I ain't seen this one. John Bowles. Check, we still running? Yes, we are. Jay Shield, what's good? TikTok, I see you. John Bowman's Excalibur, loosely based on Thomas Malory's 15th century Arthurian romance, Le Mort de Thor. is far more than just the movie that helped launch the careers of stars like Patrick Stewart, Liam Neeson, and Kieran Hines. Back when it came out, what? They had them people in this film? Raw. Might to add this to the list. We're still here to talk. We live. It's a lot of good actors. Excalibur 19 what? What's the year? 1981. Excalibur. Let's move on. Oh, no, I haven't finished yet. Where was I? I went through the actors, yes. Back when it came out, this R-rated gem revolutionized cinematic fantasy by proving how gritty, sexy, and potentially operatic the genre could be. Okay. The refusal to abide by the family-friendly tropes that had characterized fantasy cinema for so long is a big part of what makes Excalibur one of those classic fantasy movies that are still a must-watch in 2026. Borman's hyper-stylized direction is absolutely delightful, and even though some may accuse the film of favoring style over substance a bit too much, the substance is well written and well acted enough to perfectly make up for that imbalance. Well, you've been added to my list, I'll tell you that. Number 12, what? Puss in Boots, The Last Wish. There's a very good reason why DreamWorks Animation Shrek became the winner of the first ever Best Animated Feature Film Academy Award, and a very good reason why the franchise spawned so many immensely successful movies over the years. After all, this is one of the most iconic animated fantasy franchises in cinema's history that we're talking about. And as a solid spin-off, as Puss in Boots proved to be, it was its sequel, Joel Crawford's Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, that became one of the most acclaimed animated Hollywood movies in years. Is that right? I mean, I've seen this, The Last Wish. No, I'm already laughing. You got the funny looking dog and then the the feminine cat, the girl cat for chemistry. I don't think I've seen this. Pumpkin, big up yourself. I see, what flags are those? The Colombian, I don't know, what's the other one? Costa Rica? Indeed, The Last Wish is one of the best family movies in the last 10 years. A reminder of what makes DreamWorks and animation as a whole so uniquely magical. Beautifully colorful and vibrant, packed with riveting action sequences and surprisingly complex in both its emotional and thematic aspects. It's a testament to just how perfect family-friendly animation can be when placed in the right hands. Pretty good. Number 11, Son of the White Mare. I've definitely not seen this, 1981. It's often animation that ends up housing history's best high fantasy movies, and that's largely because of the infinite space for imaginative world building that the medium allows. Few feature films demonstrate that fact better than Marcel Jankovic's Hungarian cult classic Son of the White Mare, one of the most perfect fantasy cult classic movies ever made. It may look colorful and pretty on the surface, but it definitely is. However, Son of the White Mare is nevertheless not an animated film for children. Rather, this masterfully surreal, brilliantly experimental, and deliciously psychedelic experience based on the eponymous Hungarian folktale has endured the test of time as one of the most fascinating high fantasy gems of the 1980s art house world. I don't think I like the hair and stuff. The art looks nice. Son of the White Mare. Yeah, why not? Never know, might be on a journey or something. Want me some to watch. Son of the White Mare, 1981. P star star star. What is good? Number 10, Howl's Moving Castle, 2004. Yes, for those who love animated fantasy films, it hardly gets any more iconic than Studio Ghibli's Howl's Moving Castle, one of the acclaimed writer-director Hayao Miyazaki's best movies. It's a delightfully romantic adventure about Sophie, a young woman cursed with an old body by a spiteful witch. Her only chance of turning back to normal lies with a young wizard named Howl. The film is visually striking and thoroughly entertaining high fantasy. It is set in a kingdom far away at war. It is set in a kingdom at war populated by magic, walking castles, and some of the most beautiful vistas ever seen in animation. Yes, the voice acting is so phenomenal, including one of anime's best English dubs. After watching Spirited Away, Christian Bale reportedly asked Miyazaki to give him a role in any film he did next, not expecting to get the lead in Howl's Moving Castle, which he nailed. Whoa, what did I just read? I told you anime is here. You see people, all you people who love Christian Bale's movies, like, I don't know, is it American Psycho? What's the one when he starved his body down? When he lost a lot of weight? The Batman trilogy. He has a big filmography. And let me read the sentence again. After watching Spirited Away, Christian Bale reportedly asked Miyazaki to give him a role in any film he did next, not expecting to get the lead of Howl's Moving Castle, which he nailed. Wait, what did I watch that in English? Can't remember if I watched it in English, but that's big, and he likes Spirited Away, also enormous. Yeah, bigger Christian Bale, anime fan, even high on the list for me now. Okay, let's sort out this mic. Boku boku no do 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 do. Okay, 9, The Holy Mountain, 1973. Are we still recording? Yes, we are. Fred, what's good? See you joining in. Niger, do a flip. Maybe when I'm outside doing a live stream or something. Just another parasite in Europe. Hello, Timmy. Everyone knows the parasites can only destroy, but they can't create. What do you mean, Timmy? Anyway, Nigel, big up yourself. Thanks for the like. Big up everyone. I hope you all having a nice day. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. We're the Animenians, your Multiverse nation. So that means movies, games, TV series, just nerd culture, music too. Wherever the lines blur. We don't follow the Ghostbusters line here. We merge the streams. Okay, so now we're doing best fantasy movies of all time. Number 9, The Holy Mountain, 1973. Often praised as one of surrealism's greatest masters, Alejandro Jodorowsky has made a variety of head-striking surrealist films in different countries, from his native Chile to the country that birthed the majority of his filmography, Mexico. That's where he made The Holy Mountain, a drama about a greed-fueled world where an alchemist leads a mysterious group into a mountain where they hope to achieve enlightenment. Pretty much all of Jodorowsky's surrealist movies operate on entirely different reality and air, and are therefore high fantasy by nature. Okay? This is particularly true. Well, that's particularly This is particularly true of The Holy Mountain, which embraces the genre's tropes and elements with gleeful enthusiasm. With its director's typical commentary on capitalism, religion, and the spiritual world, it's a fascinating experience that audiences won't soon forget. Okay, bye Timmy. Have a good day. Alright, number 8 on the list, The Green Knight 2021. I've seen this. Known for his elegant and fantastical films, David Lowery outdid himself with The Green Knight, a quasi-poetic adaptation of the famous Arthurian myth of Sir Gawain and his quest to confront the ominous Green Knight. While many of even the best King Arthur movies portray Camelot in a realistic medieval light, Lowry boldly took on an undeniable high fantasy approach. Okay, the Green Knight. Led by a magnificent Dev Patel as Gawain, Lowry's The Green Knight channels the legendary epic it's based on in a beautifully original way. Just like its source material, it's a touching story about maturity, masculinity, and chivalry. What's really interesting is how the director chose to focus on the story's commentary on humans' treatment of nature. Okay, sounds good. My hand was scrapping, so I don't think I'll be putting it on my list. Number 8 though, above House Moving Castle, it must be good. Number 7, How to Train Your Dragon 2010. Ooh, this is the animated one, let's see. For those who like to be immersed in an imaginary world full of awe-inspiring magical creatures, How to Train Your Dragon is its enrapturing town of Berk are the perfect match. It's a tale of forbidden friendship, where a hapless young Viking boy unexpectedly befriends a dragon. Problem: Berk is a dragon hunting village that despises the draconic creatures. A Dominator. What started as an innocent adaptation of Crusader Cow's books was eventually reworked into an epic for a more mature and broader audience, according to director Dean DeBlois. Is that L? DeBlois. The result is one of DreamWorks Animation's most beloved movies, set in a scenic fantasy world where strikingly designed dragons and humans must learn to coexist. Yeah, first of all, me working in education with younger children, and they love this book, How to Train Your Dragon. This whole series, it's a great book. Lots of children love it, so I have no surprising me that it became such a success. The movie's sick as well. Number 6, Shrek 2, 2004. Okay. Before Puss in Boots, The Last Witch proved beyond a shadow of doubt that DreamWorks Animation hasn't run out of creative gas during the 2020s. The studio was at its peak throughout the 2000s and early 2010s, delivering masterpieces of Shrek 2's stature. As iconic, beloved, and historically important as the original Shrek was, its sequel that is a sequel that endured many as people's favorite animated DreamWorks of all time. Yeah, number 2 was crazy. Number 1 was really good, it was sick, was legendary, and then number 2 might be one of the best sequels ever, you know. How about that for a list? Best sequels ever. Best sequels ever. straight up, Shrek 2 is not only one of the best animated romance movies of all time, but perhaps even one of the best romantic comedies of the 21st century so far. It's as hilarious as it is deeply moving, as visually exquisite as it is full of great music, and as well written as awfully directed as it is family friendly. All in all, never has history seen any better high fantasy animated movie come out of Hollywood. Shrek 2 is crazy. Number 5, The Wizard of Oz, 1939. Yeah, I'm surprised to say number 1. I wonder what's above. Ooh, Lord of the Rings probably. When his story starts in the Kansas countryside, The Wizard of Oz gives off the impression that it might be a low fantasy film set in the real world. But when a tornado takes her farmhouse to the mystifying magical world of Oz, Victor Fleming's impressive Technicolor classic becomes a full-on high fantasy spectacle for the whole family to enjoy and sing along to. Even though The Wizard of Oz's production was a nightmare, with the whole cast suffering from horrific stress and a series of injuries plaguing the set, time turned it into a timeless classic. With its impressive use of black and white color, memorable characters, and riveting world of emerald cities and yellow brick roads, it's no wonder why The Wizard of Oz has lived in the pop culture collective consciousness for so long. The Wizard of Oz is a crazy movie. All time, like I said, it's got amazing everything, world building, characters, like the cinematography, even if they used that word back then, everything just looks so good. Okay, number 4. Ooh. Wait, this is count as fantasy. Number 4, Jason and the Argonauts, 1963, banging film. Jason and the Argonauts takes place in the same Greece that gave birth to a seminal myth about a hero leading a team of adventurers in a quest for a legendary item. However, it's hard to see it as anything other than high fantasy, with an intricately constructed mythical world operating on rules different from those of reality. It tends to be praised for its masterful use of stop motion, but it's so much more than just that. They use stop motion. What the hell? That must have been, yes, man. This is real innovation, because it just looks so good. Yeah, I need to do that. Might be a video. How was Jason and the Argonauts filmed? Stop motion. Victoria was good. An ideal movie for fans of Greek mythology, Don Shafy's iconic classic is a must-see. Its story is entertaining from start to finish, celebrating the magic of mythology and its enduring legacy over the centuries. The main attraction is the visuals, however, which have aged like fine wine, remaining a treat for the eyes after 60 years. When given Ray Harryhausen, the special effects wizard behind the film's VFX, his Academy Award for Technical Achievement in 1992, Tom Hanks said that he thought Jason and Argonauts was nothing short of the greatest film of all time. Yeah, that was an epic journey. Like, yeah, that was a movie. They were on the ship, they went to different places, you had crew, some of the crew were cool, everyone's getting some action in. A legendary movie. Number 3, Spirited Away. Ooh, they have Spirited Away by Osmond Castle. Where's Princess Mononoke? I think it might be underrated because there's a lot of action, but we'll see. Spirited Away 2001 is at place number 3 according to Collider. Drawing inspiration from Japanese folklore, Miyazaki's Spirited Away is about a girl from the real world being absorbed by a high fantasy realm of magic and wonder. It's Miyazaki's take on the coming of age genre, a tale about identity and responsibility where a girl wanders into a world of gods, witches, and spirits, where humans, including her parents, are changed into beasts. Spirited Away is riddled with symbolism, despite its relatively simple story. From the conflict of a man versus nature to the fears and anxieties that affect children. At a time when anime was ever growing in the popularity in the West, Spirited Away sealed the deal by proving that Japanese animation could be every bit as high quality as its American counterpart. Its historic win at the 2003 Oscars for Best Animated Feature makes it the only non-English language movie to claim the prestigious award. Miyazaki's masterpiece was a true game changer at the turn of the century, a revolutionary effort that remains deeply beloved by animation fans today. And speaking of Miyazaki getting the Oscar for that, I wonder if Christian Bale's interest in anime and Studio Ghibli Miyazaki's work started before or after. Either way, we respect having the link anyway, but it will be interesting to know. Okay, next up is the Star Wars original trilogy. Oh yeah, this is fantasy. I always forget people call it. It's a fantasy thing. The Star Wars original trilogy is best known for as the king of space operas, a subgenre of science fiction. However, it's equally renowned for its near-perfect mix of fantasy and sci-fi, which cinema had never seen. Star Wars: A New Hope revolutionized the genre with its own inventive approach to what is essentially a complex magic system. Star Wars Empire Strikes Back is still remembered as one of the best sequels of all time, and perhaps the best installment in the franchise, while Star Wars Return of the Jedi added a range of interesting feelings to the fantastical elements to the lore. Interesting. The trilogy is a sprawling sci-fi fantasy tale of the journey to maturity, standing up to tyrannical oppression, the never-ending battle between good and evil, and redemption in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds. The high fantasy world that George Lucas created is one so undeniably extensive, creative, and deeply fascinating that it spawned what might be the biggest transmedia juggernaut in movie history. Yeah, that's true. At its core, Star Wars is inherently political, and the fact that Lucas successfully blended sci-fi and fantasy into his DNA is even more impressive. Number one, the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Need I say more? And I'm not going to say more because I think we know how good Lord of the Rings is. Yeah. That was a top list, really good list. I got some to add to my own watch list. People, viewers, let me know. Did you hear anything that you've already seen, heard of, or is there anything that you added to your list? Or something that sounds like something you might watch. Yeah, hope everyone's having a good day. And that is the end of that video. What's this? Blue Lock teasers? I don't know. Okay. We're gonna kick this off as soon as I can zoom again. Let's go. 1, 2. Oops. Yeah. Okay, I'll be back in one set. Declan. Go on, Declan. Oh, not people yet. I need some sugar. Okay. Last lap, people. Couple videos left to do, then we're gonna call it a wrap. We've already been here talking for a whole hour. Hour and something. Hope everyone's good. Okay, DCU. 10 most perfect anime of the last 30 years ranked. Let's go. Number 10, Detective Conan. Okay, number 9, Haikyuu. Number 8, Death Note. Number 7, One Piece. Cowboy Bebop above One Piece. Okay. Number 5, Vinland Saga. Number 8, Steins Gate. Number 9, Attack on Titan. Number 8, Fullmetal Alchemist. Number 1, Monster. Wow, I do hear people say a lot about Monster. These are the most perfect anime. Yo, actually, yeah, AOT. I guess so. When they say perfect, I guess that they're taking into account pacing, just the complete package, the quality of the animation, consistency of the storylines. Steins Gate. Steins Gate is a big one. Okay, next up. Yeah, if anyone that's seen the most recent plant, if anyone's seen the most recent Lanterns episode, and you see Jon Stewart go to feed Hal Jordan's plant, yeah, a lot of people are like, what is that planting? So here's a little article. Curious about the alien plant that Hal Jordan keeps as a pet in HBO's Lanterns? Episode 2 introduces Earl Jordan, a meat-eating flower from outer space that lives in a greenhouse on Hal's mansion grounds, with sharp teeth and a taste for beef. Earl is far from an ordinary houseplant. Here's everything we know about Earl. Earl is an alien flower that Green Lantern Hal Jordan adopted during his space adventures. Subsequently, he brought it back to Earth with him and built a greenhouse on his mansion grounds. Yeah, we know he eats meat. Beyond this usual diet, Earl stands out as a predatory alien species with distinctive physical traits. Specifically, the plant possesses actual teeth, which allow it to chew and grind and gnaw on wooden spoons. Hal Jordan named the plant Earl, and treated it as a pet. Meanwhile, Jon Stewart visits Hal's mansion in episode 2 to retrieve the power battery and Earl. And to stick a pin there, it's like for me, boy, sometimes I think about it'd be cool to have these powers of going to space and whatnot, but I'm not even a fan of like snakes and reptiles, man. What am I gonna do when I go to space and see like these mad crazy creatures and I'm the only one that looks like me? There's no comfort zone. There's no let me go chill over there, bro. Nah, man. But yeah, Jon Stewart, he's definitely built for that. I would have been out there. Straight walking away. Anyway, at first, Stewart does not know that what is when he enters the greenhouse. Yeah, we know that. What's that you want to say about come on, bro. You made me talk about that. Okay, so Harry Potter fans, Well, first of all, I don't know how everyone feels about the remake. Me personally, I don't really feel like it's needed. If I want to go watch Harry Potter, I'll go rewatch the OG thing because it's that good right now. So let's have a look here, and there's big casting news. Kit Harington shares reaction to Harry Potter casting, giving fans reasons to be excited. Game of Thrones stars Kit Harington has been confirmed to play. Do, 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 do. Change battery, people. So it's looking like on average only taking me like 3 videos. Okay. Alright, so we're back. Time check. Game of Thrones star Kit Harington has been confirmed to play Gilderoy Lockhart in HBO's upcoming Harry Potter series. The actor shared his reaction to join the show, giving fans even more reason to look forward to his Wizarding World screen debut. Harington officially joined the cast for Harry Potter Season 2, taking over the role following Nicholas Holt's exit due to scheduling conflicts. Speaking with Collider, Harrington revealed that this was his very first interview since the news became public. The 39-year-old actor admitted he is a longtime Harry Potter fan and explained how much the role means to him. Here starts his quote. "Yeah, you're the first person I'm talking to about this. It just got released. I'm thrilled. I've said a million times for anyone who cares that I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. I've got to be honest, he's one of my favorite characters, so to be offered to play him is a real dream." Harrington is not, end quote, Harrington is not new to playing Lockhart. Before this, he lent his voice to the character in Audible's new full-cast Harry Potter audiobooks. That experience gives him a great start before bringing it to life on screen. Here we go for another quote. "I got to play him in the audiobooks," Harrington added. "That's not the exact way I'll play him in the show because it's an audiobook, but I've got a taste of him and I've felt my way around him. He's just a wonderful creation." Harrington will portray Lockhart as the famously narcissistic Defense Against the Dark Arts professor who takes credit for the heroic deeds of others. The role is very different from the serious Jon Snow that fans knew, making the new casting even more interesting. However, fans don't get to see him soon. He won't be appearing in Season 1, which premieres on Christmas Day, 2026. Lockhart's part will be introduced in Season 2, inspired by Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Kenneth Branagh previously played Lockhart in the original movies. However, Harrington already has experience playing the character. Fans will have to wait to see how he brings his own version of the iconic professor to the screen. While Season 1 is yet to make its streaming debut, Season 2's filming is already underway. its article was okay. So we finished there. Yeah. You know, well, what can I say? The remaking it, we don't really need a remake, but you know, if it's really good, it's really good. Seen as a series is different as well. Like, does that mean that they'll go more into the lore of the book? I mean, what does that mean? I wonder what that means for the series, for the story, for the pacing. But it'll be interesting to see. Oh, do we get to see like some Quidditch every episode? I wonder how much CGI they'll be using, how much flying on brooms, the magic. So maybe this will be a different experience seeing the Harry Potter world weekly. I never thought of it as that, as a benefit to bring it back as a series already. But in my heart of hearts, I'm like, maybe in 20 years, another 20 years should be bringing that back. Whoops. Okay. Whoa. And well, okay, where am I? All right, everyone. So here we're back with another top 10 list, and this is from Collider magazine. Top 10 classic action movies you must watch in 2026. Aliens, 1986. Big movie. Seen this? Okay, number 10. That means the other ones must be bangers. In 1979, Ridley Scott told us that in space, no one can hear you scream. 7 years later, James Cameron told us that the horrors in space would lead to immense action. From space horror to science fiction action, Alien served as the perfect sequel. Now, 40 years later, the film remains an important milestone for the action genre. This Cameron masterpiece allows soul survivor Anne Ripley, played by Sigourney Weaver, after being rescued from drifting space for 57 years, she reluctantly returns to the alien moon LV-426 with a squad of colonial marines after contact is lost with a human terraforming colony. There, they find the base eerily abandoned, damaged by combat, and swarming with hordes of deadly xenomorphs. Xenomorphs, yeah, big up Aliens, one of the best franchises, film franchises. Very creative with the creatures. I think they're very cool. I think they're very sick. Invoke fear and anxiety in the watches and stuff. Next, Escape from New York, 1981. What? Okay. It's action, yeah? What's his name? Kurt Russell? We'll see. Only a few years earlier, John Carpenter established himself as a master of horror. Then, in 1981, he combined science fiction and action for the independent dystopian thriller Escape from New York, set in 1977, when the island of Manhattan has been turned into a giant maximum security prison. Air Force One is hijacked and crashes inside as inmates take the president, played by Donald Pleasance, hostage. Police Commissioner Bob Hawke recruits former soldier turned criminal Snake Plissken, played by Kurt Russell, who is injected with lethal microexplosives and forced to rescue him within 22 hours in exchange for a full pardon. What? Escape from New York. Let's add that to the list. That sounds like a banger. You know, I'm trying to increase my movie repertoire, you know. Sometimes to get better you have to go backwards in history, so this is Escape from New York. 1981. Okay, that's in the list. Next is Heat, 1995. Yeah, big movie. It only took Michael Mann's high-stakes action crime thriller to bring Al Pacino and Robert De Niro together again for a new project. Heat follows the cat-and-mouse game between dedicated LAPD detective Vincent Hanna, played by Pacino, and methodical master thief Neil McCauley, played by De Niro, in Los Angeles. After Macaulay and his crew pull off a massive, aggressive armored car robbery that leaves a bloodbath in its wake, despite being on opposite sides of the law, Hannah and Macaulay have a mutual respect as driven professionals who share an unspoken understanding. Okay. Oof. Another movie we've seen, well, we've spoken about recently is Jason and the Argonauts, 1963. If you've been utterly dazzled by Christopher Nolan's take on the Odyssey or watched Percy Jackson and the Olympians, and you're eager for more Greek action, look no further than Jason and the Argonauts. The epic fantasy adventure directed by Don Chaffee is loosely based on the 3rd century BC epic poem, the Argonautica by Apollonius Rhodius, and follows a hero named Jason, played by Todd Armstrong, who sails aboard the Argo with a team of brave heroes to find the magical golden fleece. Top movie. Yeah, I watched that from like teens, and I could obviously see that was like an old movie, but it was just so good. The action, the scenery, the backgrounds, the settings, like it was just very cool. The effects, the special effects, excellent. Ooh, 1987 Predator. Hey, that might be the best one, you know. Oh, is that OG Predator? I think it might be. With the Predator franchise still, what rank is this, by the way? Oh, this is just 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Robo, oh no, Predator. With the Predator franchise still going strong thanks to 2025's Predator Badlands, that's a big movie. The original film may be inadvertently inspired. No, let's pull that back. With the Predator franchise still going strong thanks to 2025's Predator Badlands, the original film may have inadvertently inspired many other projects along the way. In John McTiernan's science fiction action horror film, Major Dutch Schaefer, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, leads an elite paramilitary rescue team into a Central American jungle to save hostages from guerrilla forces. After completing their mission, the team is stalked and hunted one by one by a technologically advanced alien warrior who preys on them for sport. Top movie. Hey, why is that pic so clean? Next up is RoboCop 1987. The 1980s were a decade when science fiction and action were paired together quite often. The result was some of the greatest films within the hybrid genre, including RoboCop, directed by Paul Verhoeven. The film is set in a crime-ridden dystopian Detroit, where the city stands on the verge of financial collapse and extreme violence. A dedicated police officer, Alex Murphy, played by Peter Weller, is brutally murdered by a ruthless gang led by a crime lord, Clarence Bodicker, played by Kurtwood Smith. The mega corporation Omni Consumer Products and corrupt OCP senior executive Dick Jones, played by Ronnie Cox, rebuild his remains into a powerful cyborg law enforcer known as RoboCop. Yeah, man, the film has a lot. Psychological stuff, philosophical stuff about identity, what you should be able to do to the human body, experimentation, economy, culture, greed. It's just, yeah, I wonder. No, it's a bit too early, but this would almost be on the verge of cyberpunk. If you're set a bit more further in the future, I would call it like a cyberpunk movie. Okay. Next is Rollerball. Why do I feel like I've seen this? If there's one classic film that seems to feel increasingly more and more real, it's the 1975 version of Rollerball. The dystopian thriller tells the story of global corporations ruling the earth after nations have collapsed. They replace war with a brutal gladiatorial sport called Rollerball to keep the public pacified. Star veteran player John E. played by James Caan, is ordered by corporate executive Mr. Bartholomew, played by John Houseman, to retire. Refusing to quit, he defies corporate orders to retire, threatening the system's absolute control by proving individual greatness still matters. Now, yeah, this one picks up on a big point, you know. People, let's talk about this one. We'll be serious for a sec. Take our mind outside of fiction. Outside of, you know, what we see of film, TV, media, outside of entertainment, we know that there's a lot of truth in this world. And, you know, and things like how we just mentioned, using sport as a thing to pacify the populace, to pacify, you know, people on earth. Entertainment sometimes, yes, it's good, but we also, when there's chances, like Mark Ruffalo pointed out, when there's chances to observe something, to speak about something that has to do with, you know, deeper morality and justice for just humanity in general, human society, human history, understanding who we are, where we come from. We always need to remember, even if I say this, basically saying this to myself, that we need to remember there's a balance between our day-to-day lives, yeah, putting food on the table, whatever our personal ambitions, and then we have entertainment or whatever, any form of entertainment, whatever it is, our mental health, you know, health and fitness, but also, man, none of us actually have an explanation for what we are. No, let me not say that. Lots of us have explanations. None of us have a definitive answer that can be told of what we are, who we are, where we came from, what or who created us, and what is our consciousness. And yeah, just remember that is also always the biggest thing in life. So just keep your mind there. I'll put myself in the eye. Okay, next up is The Fugitive, 1993. Based on the 1960s TV series, this Andrew Davis directed thriller follows Dr. Richard Kimball Harrison Ford, a Chicago surgeon who is wrongfully convicted of murdering his wife. After a prison transport crash allows him to escape, he tries to track down the real killer, a mysterious one-armed man, as he evades a nationwide manhunt led by the relentless U.S. Marshal Samuel Gerard, played by Tommy Lee Jones. Ooh, this sounds like what's that film? Law Abiding Citizen. It sounds similar to the one that Gerard Butler. The Fugitive. Next up is The Running Man, one of which I watched the remake of, and I think it was that 2026. I think it was really early in the year. Definitely enjoyed that movie. Great movie. Very good remake. I loved everything about it. Exciting, the cinematography, the music, the angles felt creative. It felt fresh. It's a remake, but it felt fresh. Okay, before Glenn Powell took on the role of Ben Richards in the Edgar Wright remake, the role belonged to Arnold Schwarzenegger, adapted from Stephen King again. Stephen King's 1982. This guy might be one of the best authors ever. Stephen King's 1982 novel, the science fiction thriller The Running Man, is set in a ruined future where police pilot Ben Richards, played by Schwarzenegger, is forced by ruthless host Damon Killian, played by Richard Dawson, to star on The Running Man, a lethal top-rated violent program. Contestants called runners must dodge colorful gladiator killers named stalkers inside a closed arena for a chance at freedom. This is very good. Now, what is different with the remake is that I think they instead of having it in a caged arena, they had to survive in society in general. I think that is something that had a big appeal about it. And it's weird, you know, super tricky, very difficult having to hide yourself in a running game in society, but the game's broadcasted everywhere. So there's like live stuff, and people in public can send messages. And well, you know, let me not do any more spoilers. If you're a fan of Running Man, or if you want something to watch that's along the type of lines of like a dystopian future, corporate state again type stuff, this is for you, and the remake's really good. Okay, moving on. Hello, Maxi. Oh my dad, didn't you see my Thompson? Is that it? Ooh, The Warriors, 1979. The 1979 Saul Ulrich's novel was given the Love Action treatment. The result was a wild New York set thriller that resulted in a masterclass in stylized urban action. The Warriors begins as a rival named Luther, played by David Patrick Kelly, assassinates a powerful, unifying gang leader, Cyrus, played by Roger Hill, off the massive Grey Mercy Rifts at a midnight citywide gang summit meant to propose a permanent truce and unite tens of thousands of gang members against the police. In turn, Luther falsely frames the 9 unarmed representatives of the Warriors, labeled targets by every hostile gang in the city. The Coney Island Street Gang, led by Ajax, played by James Remar, and Swan, played by Michael Beck, must survive the night, navigate the underground transit, and fight their way through 30 miles back to their home turf. What? Lastly, got set up. Okay, that's that one there. Perna Lama, how are you? I hope everyone's having a good day. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, people. What do we have next? Ooh, got 2% left on that. And we're going for hour and a bit. What do we have here? Alright, let's try to get into this theory quickly. So this is a theory about Lanterns and Batman. Episode 2 of Lanterns, titled Trust Fall, had more than a few surprises. Fan speculation has been rife as to who among the current cast might be a Manhunter. I think, yes, who's the Manhunter? I think the Manhunter might be the policewoman, because that hospital stuff was too weird. I think the whole town might be Manhunters. Why not? The whole town are Manhunters. Where are we? Wow, there are others who want to see more of Sinestro. However, one third seems to have piqued the interest of fans, thanks to the revelation that Sheriff Kerry Kane, one of the few allies of Hal and John, is actually from Gotham. Now, let's see. This thread says, posted by this guy. You can see, if you want to go follow his at Samuel. Lanterns is pulling off the ultimate DC plot twist by hiding Batwoman in rural Nebraska. Sheriff Kerry Kane is almost certainly an alias for Cat Kane, who likely fled Gotham after a massive tragedy or a fallout with Bruce. Is it? What a connection. That sounds very likely. It would make sense, because where we're going to be with Batman Brave and the Bold is supposed to be when the Bat family is already established, and like the multiple Robins and now Batwoman. Okay. Played by Kelly MacDonald, Kerry Kane's last name has caused fans and viewers to connect the character to Batwoman. 2 women with the surname Kane have popped up with the mantle of Batwoman in 2 separate continuities. There is no way they've done that by accident. And she's a policewoman. It would make a lot of sense. And they sprinkling the connections and stuff. I like it. Alright, people, Nike lovers. We got Nike lovers and One Piece lovers. We have a collaboration here on Crunchyroll News. Nike One Piece collab features Devil Fruit Air Max plush shoes and more. Let's go. The latest fashion collab for Eiichiro Oda's One Piece is a big one with Nike, which plans to unleash a trio of Devil Fruit themed Air Max Plus footwear along with select apparel items this September. The Air Max Plus styles include the Gomu Gomu no Mi, Mera Mera no Mi, and the Ope Ope no Mi. Jeez. All have varying levels of availability, with the Gomu Gomu no Mi Air Max Plus kicking off pre-orders in the United States, Japan, and select European countries starting on September 25. Additional launches will follow in other regions. I'm writing that down, I can't lie. Wait, let's see how they look first, because I didn't really wear trainers like that. Ooh. Ooh. Hey, these are flames. I'm not even reading anything, I was looking at the trainers now. September, wait, that's next month. Hey! No, Nike, you're killing me. Let's look at this art. Man said he's dunking with the Gomu Gomu no Mi, Gomu Gomu no Mu, Gomu Gomu no Mu, dunker. That's jokes. When I say dunking with the elastic thing, okay. Alright, let's see where stuff is available. Gomu Gomu no Mi. So the main three select places. We can't get this in England. We're gonna find a way, boy. Mera Mera no Mi, only Japan, Korea, China, Taiwan, Indonesia, Mexico. These are nice. Those who won the Ope no Mi, only in United States and Europe, September 19th. Alright, so I'm gonna start looking from now, basically. The rest of the collection includes everything from jerseys to shirts and caps modeled after specific One Piece details. There's even a shirt featuring the Jolly Roger Luffy scrawled as a mark of promise, and a vest inspired by the effects of devil fruits, which are said to make those who eat them hated by the sea and unable to swim. Yeah, nah, that's cold. Yeah, this is looking good. Oh, they got the whole lineup. Thank you, Crunchyroll. We got the whole time here. Alright, there you go, people. Some One Piece drip. Big up Nike. Why won't you zoom? Okay, so here we have an article by Variety Magazine. We are recording now. Guillermo del Toro, James Gunn, and Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse directors set for let's do that one again. Guillermo del Toro, James Gunn, Beyond the Spider-Verse director set for Crunchyroll's inaugural anime feature forum. What? That sounds big. Anime, let's get it. Move on away. Anime giant Crunchyroll plans to dissect the growing business of anime with its first ever Thought Leadership Summit to be held as a precursor to the New York Comic Con in October. The Crunchyroll Anime Future Forum will be held on October 7th in New York Javits Convention Center with conference tracks focusing on 4 key themes: fandom, technology, storytelling, and IP protection. Notables set to speak at the event include Guillermo del Toro, longtime proponent of anime, director James Gunn, and Bob Persichetti, and Justin K. Thompson, directors of Sony Pictures. Upcoming animated sequel, Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse. Anime influences including Amber Glenn, Big Sean, and Jordan Howlett will also take part. Yeah. You need to get me up there soon. Top anime studios will also be showcased, including leaders from Toho, Mappa, and Sony Music's Aniplex. Sony Corp's top leaders will be out in force to support the event. Crunchyroll has been under the Sony Pictures Entertainment umbrella, is it, since 2021? When the studio acquired Crunchyroll, it merged with Sony's existing Funimation unit. So that explains the merger. The subscription streaming platform has blossomed into Sony's biggest footprint in streaming and what? That's your biggest... You just said it here. Anime is Sony's biggest platform in streaming. Crunchyroll, anime. And an engine of distinctive content for the company. Of course it's distinctive. That's the anime common culture. Manga. Crunchyroll partnered with Sony Pictures for the theatrical release of 2025's Demon Slayer Infinity Castle, which set US box office records for an anime feature. Come on now. I don't even live in the US and got that money up. Hiroki Totoki, president of and CEO of Sony Music Group of Sony Group Corp, will be on hand at the forum to deliver remarks, as will Ravi Ahuja, chairman and CEO of Sony Pictures Entertainment. Christine Belson, president of Sony Pictures Animation, will moderate the session with the Beyond Spider-Verse helmers. The event will conclude with observations and news delivered by Rahul Purini, Crunchyroll president. New York Comic Con runs October 8th to 10th. Wow. Big conference, big movements. Sony, anime. The age of anime is here. I'm telling you, people, it's so here. We are just growing in the mainstream. People are seeing how big our culture is. The Animenians is our time. I'm gonna show them the baddest stuff. If they listen, biggest props to Marvel, DC, Avengers, all of that. But anime can do that too. And anime can do that too. We're gonna come, everyone that's eating in nerd culture, anime fans, manga fans, game, live action fans. You got series like Fallout and The Witcher, and, Rings of Power, whatever. Fantasy fans, nerds, we're here for the live action stuff. It's just going crazy. But anime live action, we're getting our space now. Good article. Okay, and I think we are done. Wait, what? Oh, Chainsaw Man news. Last one. And then, you said it out. Oh, shit. Okay, last part, and we're good. This is for number 4, I guess. That was a loud clap, and that was a sound check, people. So, last article for the day is going to be Chainsaw Man. Chainsaw Man the movie, Ree's Art gets new visual for streaming release. When I thought the video, I was talking about new scenes. Any new scenes in it? No. Well, for lovers of the Ree's Arc, I think we're about to find out when the streaming is. So, and it says... Yeah, forget that one, man. That might pop up anytime. So we are done. Bye. YouTube, Instagram, thank you for your time. Hope everyone enjoyed the news and discussions. See you next time.